welcome, guys, to another
Good
episode
morning.
of the Couch Show.
I think I'm in the hot seat, guys. I think I am. I don't know. I'm getting ambushed this morning. I didn't do it. You can't prove anything.
Definitely, it's gonna be a good episode.
If
It's
you
gonna be
have
one of
video
those like,
evidence, Lynn,
oh,
I'm gonna be like it's doctored, deep fake. It's deep fake. That's not me. CGI. I didn't do anything. You can't prove it.
man. And like, you know what? It's just TMI. Why do I even know this about my brother? Why?
Oh shit! What did I do? I didn't do shit. I'm telling you. Deny, 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 gentlemen. Deny, deny, deny.
It is coming in. Well, Tuesday morning, right? It's Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday morning.
Epic weekend, at least for you.
Um, yeah, it was another good weekend.
Lynn went to a pajama party, by the way, FYI.
I did. And you know what it
FYI.
was? You know what it was? I didn't realize exactly what it was, and I should have known what it was because it was for Wildin' Out. So we go, and I'm thinking like, oh, it's gonna be like a party atmosphere. No, it was like a show where they were doing like the rap battles and stuff.
Hmm.
So that was kind of cool. And they were like
But in
roasting people.
pajamas?
Yeah, it was a pajama party. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It was just there was a lot going on. And so like on your way in, people were like volunteering to be roasted. So they like pulled people up on the stage to roast them. Like I was like, I
Damn, I
would
would not want to
never
do
volunteer
that.
for something like that.
my,
Like what?
my,
No.
I got low self-esteem as it is. I don't need to be roasted. I'll be remembering that for years. I'll be remembering that for years. All right, let me check the audio real quick. Make sure that we sounded good.
Mhm.
Check. All right, let me check the audio real quick. Make sure that we sounded good. All right, good. Sounds good. I
It was
mean,
so
I
funny.
sounded
I'm
good.
not really, like I'm not a big drinker, and when we went out to this Wallin' Out party, we ended up, doing VIP. There was a nice group of us, so we got the table, we got a bottle,
Damn, you
and
went
they're like,
VIP? You
"Oh,
popping bottles?
yo!" Not only were we popping bottles, but our VIP section was right next to like the head, like the main name for the night. Like the top like rap battler or whatever. I can't remember his name, but he was right next to us.
Uh-huh.
Like his whole group, his whole entourage. We were like partying with them. It was kind of cool.
Nice.
Yep.
That's
So we're
cool.
out there and they're trying to decide like what bottle to order. And the bottle they wanted wasn't there. So then they're like, oh, well, I don't want to drink this and I don't want to drink that. And they're like, Lynn, what do you want to drink? And I'm like, let's order a bottle of Hennessy.
For real, because technically
Sure
it's still your
enough.
birthday, right? Because
Sure enough.
Lynn's
Like,
birthday ain't ending until September rolls in. It's
it's still going. Yep.
still going.
Yep.
All right, so it was dope though. It was a dope
It
ass
was.
party.
Yeah. It was.
Man, at your age, you still partying like you're a sorority. Lynn's literally wilding out. Lynn was wilding out.
Yep.
That's good for you though. That's what life's all about, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I
I
want
don't
to be
know.
a
I feel like
peaceful.
it's a bit much. I feel like at this point, like, I'm done.
Yo,
I'm all partied
I
out.
knew it. I knew. Listen, I was trying to cover for you, and I'm trying to like gas it up. But what they don't know is that Lynn is like an old lady. Like Lynn has her curfew. Her friends like trying to get her out and be like, "Oh, be young." But Lynn's like has the soul of like an 80-year-old man or something, like
Yeah, I'm
oh,
like,
a curmudgeon.
I I have like an alarm on my watch, and it tells me at 10:45, get ready for bed. It's almost your bedtime.
Oh shit! It did that at the club. Yo, your shit went beep 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 beep. Everybody's like, "What the hell is going on?"
I'm like,
You
I should
gotta
be
take
getting
your
ready for bed.
medicine. Gotta take the medicine.
Hmm.
Oh, that's hilarious. Damn, Lynn. Oh, that's good. That's good. You wildin'. I don't know, I used to be like that, but now like I'm getting older and I'm like, man, I want to go out more. I feel like I got that fear of missing out. Like I'm like, man, I got FOMO. I gotta get out there.
Hmm.
You'll
So
feel
one of
it.
my
I think it's
girlfriends
good.
wasn't able to go, and like while we were getting ready, she was still in the group text, and she was like, "Man, like I'm really having FOMO over here." And I was like, "Oh." Like I felt empathy for her in the moment, and I was just like, like there'll be more things. Like I like letting her know, like, don't fret, you're not missing that
Yeah,
much. So
yeah.
I'm kind of glad that the night turned out the way it did, because it was awesome because we were all together, and you're going
Hmm.
to make the best of any situation. But it wasn't a great night. It was just,
There'll be better times.
I don't know. I don't know. I want to say it was ghetto in that it was not well planned. Like, it didn't make sense. Like, they emptied the building after the show and was like, oh, come back in 30 minutes for
Listen,
an after
it's
party.
I get it. Like the music is always dope at a ghetto party, but it always ends early. I'm telling you, man. When I party with white people, the DJ's a little corny and stuff, but like I told you, I was at an Irish bar and there was a fight that broke out, and the fight broke out with like 5 people, and I'm like, oh, all right, that's it. Let's go. We're leaving, right? They're like, no. They'll figure things out and we'll stay open. I was like, they're not gonna shut this place down. I was shocked. And I hid in the back of the corner too, because I was like, yo, I scanned the whole place. I was like, man, I'm the only minority up in here. They're gonna blame me. It was this guy. He started it. I was like nowhere near it. I was in the other room. So maybe you got
Yeah.
it. Maybe you
So
got it.
did you go out to Morristown?
I did, of course. It was epic.
Very nice. Very nice. Did you go to
I'm not
the
inviting you no
spot?
more though. I'm
No,
not
you
inviting you no more though. No, I went there, of course. That's where I start. But there's a new spot next door, and that place is always packed. Oh,
didn't.
I loved it. I love it. I'm trying to get my buddy out. Nobody wants to go with me, so I had to go. I had to fly solo. You know, I had to fly solo. It's all right though. I'm used to it.
Is it just me, or our cameras like kind of
My camera, and I see
like
it over
yours
on
is?
YouTube. It's
Yeah,
like
yours
really
is
weird,
like
squishing me.
super
Yeah,
like
it's like
smushed,
always
and
doing
I feel
that.
like mine is kind of like almost like a fisheye.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I don't like it.
What's
I
going
see it
on
on
here? I
YouTube
don't
too.
like
It's
this.
squishing the shit out of me. I feel like I'm in vice grips or something. All right, so you prepped me before the show, so I'm ready. I'm ready for this bomb. What's going on?
Oh, I thought we were gonna talk about the trending topics.
Oh,
I
we
thought
gotta get there. We gotta build it
we were gonna
up.
do all that.
We are. We gotta listen. We're waiting for people to roll in. We're waiting for we're getting there. We'll
Oh,
get there. We
I
got an
had
hour show. It's only 8 minutes in.
I had such a heavy night, man. It was crazy. So, I had an old girlfriend from the past come back into my life recently. And, like, she's going through a lot. So she came in, like, just in a very needy, very emotional time.
Mhm.
Cool. I have the time right now. I have that freedom. I'm able to, like, lend that ear, be that support. So
But
we're chilling.
to not to cut you off, but I just want you to know, like, you got to understand your blessing in the sense that you are blessed that you don't have that drama in your life, that
Mhm.
you ain't going through that kind of stuff, that you can actually help, give, like, I don't know how to say it, like, give, like, an abundance of like, you have an abundance of joy in you, right? Because of
Mhm.
where your life is right now. So you can kind of give a little bit off of that when she comes in her time of need, right? So
Mhm.
kind of take that, take that for what it is. Like, understand, like, that, like I said, everything that happens in my life, I always look at it as a way to analyze it and look at it as a lesson learned, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, that's what, like, you got to look at it. Like, you got to look at it like in a different perspective. Be like, man, this could be my life, but it's not. So
Mhm.
which I know you are. I know you're giving out a helping hand. You're helping her out and everything. But it's like, understand that. So,
Mhm.
like, I do that a lot. When I hear people's stories and I hear, what's going on with their lives, that's why I could be more, what's the word?
Grateful.
No, and when you're like helping somebody,
Oh,
empathy, right? You have more
yeah,
empathy
that is.
to help them because like you're in a good place. You're in a good
Mhm.
place, man. So be happy for that. And be more grateful too.
So we're just having casual conversation. It's late night. The kids are quiet. It's late night. It's girl talk. She starts telling me about a time that she was visiting you and your wife. And I'm like, oh Lord, where is this going? So
Mm-hmm.
first off, she's like, oh, I arrived and I walk in, and like she's like, I should have known because Ray walked straight to the bathroom. And she's all like, yo, I walked in and like the room smelled funny. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, oh, that your brother was like conceiving. I was like, whoa. TMI, right? And then she proceeds to tell me more about the night and how about she was that's the night that she was in the kitchen with Chelsea and that she was like cooking and like learning how to make Spanish food. And I just felt like the more she was talking about it, the more like emotions were like building up inside of me. And it was like just a realization that I have a lot of like vent up emotions that I have not dealt with.
About what?
Life in general. Like, um, I just feel like the people who are closest to me have, you know, really, I've been hurt the most by people who I've allowed to become very close to me.
Hmm.
You know, that's through significant others, that's through friends, that's through, you know, like the awkward relationship I feel that I'm trying to repair with my mom. You
Mm.
know, like there's just a lot of stuff and I feel like I'm guarded and like I'm feeling it now, like I'm about to cry and I feel like there's a lot of emotions that I haven't dealt with. And it's easy to kind of you know, stay in that positive space, that positive bubble. But I feel like when these emotions start hitting and these emotions that are coming up that maybe I haven't dealt with, I feel like damn, this is some heavy shit. This is really
Life is.
man. Like life
I
comes
told you we can write a
with
book. We can write
whew.
a book with everything that's happened. But once again, bottling up is not healthy, Lynn.
Mhm.
If look, if anything, you gotta at least talk to yourself about it.
Yeah. But
Like
that's
look
the
in the
thing.
mirror and
I
talk
didn't
about
realize
it.
that I had anything bottled up. So that was the realization for me. That was like noticing,
You
like,
got
oh shit, I
clarity.
have like some undealt with things. Like I thought I was
Mm,
okay. I don't
mm.
know, man.
So work on it. It takes look, baby steps. You got to start airing that shit out. Air out your grievances.
Hmm.
I mean, they do say time heals, but you gotta also acknowledge that there's something that needs to be healed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's good that you have, you had an epiphany and you have a realization that you have to go through this healing process, but now you got to hold yourself accountable,
Hmm.
you know? And like I said, therapy, when you go to therapy, what it is you're talking, right? You're talking to a therapist, and the therapist is just trained in a way to know how to get those answers out of you, right? Or get those
Right.
questions, get you in the right path so that you actually can analyze yourself. Because that's really all it is. They're like, oh, and how does that make you feel? And what do you
Mhm.
feel about that? And then, so you're just talking through your grievances, right?
Right.
So that's all you got to do. That's what I'm saying. You got to sit down. You got to have a conversation with yourself.
Hmm.
Get some good. That's where you should get some real good indica, right? And the indica in the couch, right? Just get some really
Yep.
good one. Don't get the one that makes you all paranoid, because then you start thinking it's gonna happen to you again. No, just get that and just kind of just chill and kind of be like, all right, let's air out these grievances
Yeah. Let's see what's building up over here. Because I
because
realized, you know, like I've been like at the brink of just like crying. Um,
ain't nothing wrong with that.
so
That's healthy.
often, I want to say over like the last like 2 weeks, which is crazy because it's been like my birthday and I've had such high highs. I'm also feeling really low lows, like in between. So it's
Damn, you're like a roller coaster.
yeah, it's a roller coaster over here, man.
Lynn's a hot mess. She's holding it together right now, everybody. um, I mean, but for real, like, listen, we don't all have the answers in everything that's going on in our lives, right?
Hmm.
And like you said, you've been hurt by people you trusted, and if you don't hash out those issues, if you don't, analyze that and get some kind of clarity out of that, you're gonna have a hard time trusting again.
Hmm.
You know,
Which is
that's
something
the
that,
part.
like I
That's
do
what really
want
sucks. You don't want that.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I said that sucks. Like you don't want that. Like you want to
Right,
be able to build trust.
right.
And you saw, I mean, you saw how I handled some of the issues. Like you said, like what, 2 years ago, I was a really negative person, right?
Mhm.
But you gotta do the work. You gotta go through those. You gotta go through those emotions.
Mhm.
So you have it all bottled up, and you try to put a smile on your face. That's not healthy.
Yeah.
That's not healthy. You gotta cry. You gotta let it out. You gotta anger. Do you need a punch me pillow? Is that what
What
you
the hell's
need?
the punch me pillow? You said that, and I know about that like creepy little like character that all the kids are playing with now. Rico has like three of them with like the teeth.
Oh, those things. Well, yeah,
These
you can punch
are
that.
awful, man.
So you know how you made the pillows where you put like families' faces and everything, and it's all
Mhm.
like happy pillow. Well, it's like that, but you put the pillow of an ex or the person who like hurt you the most, and you just beat the shit out of the pillow. You let your
That's
anger out.
hilarious.
Like I'm telling you, you need to go to one of those on Valentine's days. What is it? The revenge parties. You ever seen one of those? Where
No,
you
I
go to it's like
haven't.
a club and they'll have like a really big like shredder, and
Mhm.
you just bring like photos of the people who like done you wrong. And you just throw it in the shredder. Yeah, for people who's like, oh, I've been hurt. I mean, we all been hurt. It's just it's a circle of life.
It is, yeah, and
We
you know
hurt
what? It's a
people.
learning process for you about yourself as well, because I feel like every time you're in a relationship, you're testing the waters and you're learning about yourself. You're learning about what you tolerate, what you don't tolerate, what you like, what you don't like. You're just weeding them out.
Hmm.
Dating is difficult.
It is, but you know what? You need to get hurt so you know what you deserve, right?
Hmm.
Like I'm telling you, like if you go into let's say you go into your first relationship, right, and you got these like Disney lenses on, right, because that's really how it is. It's all about like oh happily ever after and all this, right? You're not gonna understand what you deserve, and you're gonna put up and you're gonna tolerate a lot of stuff, right?
Right.
Because you're gonna think like oh this is my soulmate, all the myths, right? And then finally, when you get hurt, you go through so much pain. That's when you start realizing like all right there's you're gonna have you're gonna have boundaries, and you're gonna be
Hmm.
like, look, you gotta meet this, and if you don't, I'm not breaking my boundaries for nobody.
Yeah.
Like keep it walking, and that's good because one, if you look at both scenarios, one is more like you have more of like a scarcity mindset, whereas the other one you have more of an abundance mindset. It's like, look, keep it going. There's more people out there, right?
Hmm.
The same, like, oh, there's plenty of fishes in the sea, right? So it's good. It's good to have boundaries because you don't want to be a pushover.
It's really weird looking at you like this. You're like
All
very
squished. Yeah,
smush.
no.
I'm like,
It's
oh,
like
is it my eyes?
it's like it's freaking hilarious. I look like an alien.
Yo, I think I
I don't
saw a
know.
UFO again. And it's
Did
always in
you?
that same stretch. It's always like somewhere between like Newburgh and Middletown and like there's just a stretch. All right, right, you know where it is? It's always right by the airport. And so I'm always like, "Oh, it's got to be a plane," but it's not because it moves quickly and it's almost like a flashlight where it could be like like a falling star, except that's not a star. You know?
You don't think it's a drone?
No, it's too big for a drone. I've seen it twice now. It twice, and the last time I saw it was probably like a year ago. It wasn't like I'm
You
seeing them
know
like
you
every
know
day.
which movie you should go see? You should go see Nope. Watch Nope.
I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, watch Nope. And you watch that movie and then you'll be freaked out the next time you see it. You'll be like, Nope.
Holy crap! Holy crap!
Yeah, go see that movie. It's not bad. It's okay. It's an okay movie.
Hmm. Yeah, I saw it recently. I was like, ah, there it is again.
I think me and the boys, we saw something crazy when we were walking. Remember when I took my car for service and you were in court?
Hmm.
Yeah, so it was like something weird by your house. Like in that area, by the mall. I was like, what the hell is that?
What do you mean weird?
And
Like in the woods, weird. Like in the sky,
no, it
weird.
was
What are
in
we
the
talking
sky.
about here?
It was in the sky because I went to go see Nope with my youngest, and when he saw it, he was like, he started freaking out. He was like, "Follow the rules of the movie. Follow the rules of the movie." I love it. I love my kids. All right. So, I mean, we're 20 minutes in. It's going to be a short show. Oh, Mazan. She said, hello, my dear children. I'm watching the show. Lynn, if I hurt you in any way with or harsh words or anything else, please forgive me. No, Ma. It's the other way around. Lynn's the meanie. I think
I
that's
am
what Lynn is
mean.
trying to
I am
replace.
really mean. I'm trying to work on that too.
I think that stems to a lot of stuff. Listen, we can get into the topic, or we could talk about Lynn. I don't mind either way. I think, like honestly, your dad passed at a very young age, and I think you're still resentful about that.
Hmm.
And I think you because of that, I think you took it out on Ma a lot. So yeah, you do have to fix
I
that
don't
because
like with
that's your
my
mom.
dad though. I was so young that I really don't have memories. Like it wasn't like I don't know, like maybe since then, like I feel like I've repressed memories because like I really don't remember my childhood. I don't have like memories of my dad. I don't have like memories of just random stuff. Like even like I said, like a blast from my past. My girlfriend came back into my life. So she's recounting stories like, oh, do you remember the time when? And I'm like, no, I don't remember any of that shit.
Why did you block out your childhood?
I don't know. I feel like I've blocked out my entire life. I have
Yeah,
no
you got to be careful with that because that's where people like they start opening those doors and they realize they were molested or something. Don't go telling me that, Lynn. That's tragic.
it
Don't go
wasn't
coming
anything
out
like
hashing that
that.
out.
I feel like I'd remember that.
No, that's the thing.
I don't
People
know.
don't remember that
I don't
because it was so
know.
tragic that they close it out.
Hmm. I don't
So
know. I
they
don't feel like there's
don't.
anything traumatic like that. I just feel like I haven't, I don't know, like found my place in the world.
Well, nobody knows that
Right.
unless you're like a movie star or something, or like like it's clearly obvious, like you're making it in life. Nobody really understands that. You
Mm.
gotta stop chasing that. Listen, there's a lot more to life than just chasing after your place in the world.
Mm. So maybe I'm not phrasing it right because it's not so much my place in the world. I just feel like I haven't built my tribe. Like I didn't, like moving around so much when I was young, I didn't really have like those ties with people in like the middle school years. And so I don't really have like childhood friends, except that I have like YAG friends, but like even with YAG friends, I only saw them like once a week. They weren't like my everyday friends, like I really don't have
Hmm.
strong ties with people. And I feel like even now that I'm raising my children, I don't really have a lot of family around my children. That like sense of community, it's like
Hmm.
a missing part. I think that's why I gravitate so much towards like my newest girlfriend because she brings that to me.
A sense of
Like we're
family.
yeah, like we hang out, our children hang out, like we are we're like coexisting and like running our lives side by side and like her and I are both parents and it's a meaningful relationship to me because it's finally someone that I can relate to and feel like connected to.
Hmm. So Trish said, instant gratification mentality is ruining relationships. I 100%
Mhm.
agree, Trish. I mean, like I said before, like there's a lot of people who, um, it's not. It's also that, but it's also a sense of like I don't know why, but as we're growing up, we tend to have inflated egos of like what we should be. Like nobody wants to be mediocre. And like the majority of us are mediocre, and that's okay. What you got to realize is that what makes your life meaningful when you are mediocre is the relationships you do have around you,
Right.
which a lot of people tend to take that for granted because they're self-centered, and that's a lot of people. And that's just how it is. I don't understand why. I don't know how we get out of that. But a lot of people are like, they have these visions of grandeur of like, I'm going to be this thing and I don't care about the people around me until it's too
Mhm.
late.
Tris also said relationships take work and effort.
They do.
Seems like now, as soon as the road gets tough, people are just too ready to quit.
And I see that all the time. I'll be on Reddit and I'll see like, this, remember how we started the show and we wanted to do like relationship advice?
Hmm.
Because we are like, well, we got a male and a female perspective. Well, why don't we talk about relationships, right?
Yeah.
And so I was on Reddit, and it's crazy how there could be a couple, right, a married couple, and they'll have one argument, and in the comments they're like, "Yo, leave them, divorce them, go,
Mm-hmm.
you deserve better." And I'm like, you got to understand that marriage is not supposed to be happy, happy, happy 24/7.
Hmm.
Like that's not what a marriage is about. Marriage is about building a legacy, And you got to understand that it's going to be good times and bad times. They literally say that when you make the vows,
Yeah.
through sickness and in health, through good times and bad times, you know? And people don't understand that. They just like, yo, oh, I just want to be happy. Not to bag on women, but it's mostly women that's like has that mindset. It's like, oh, you don't understand me. You don't make me happy anymore. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, who's happy 24/7? That's just not. That's not sustainable.
Right.
I mean, I know we tend to be very positive on the show, but like off camera, look, I have my
But like
moments. Lynn has her moments.
positive and happy aren't the same thing. You know, like positive is more about like, you know, you're holding on to hope.
Hmm.
And you know like everything's going to be all right ultimately, but you know that doesn't necessarily mean that you're happy.
That's true. And I'm glad that you made that. I'm glad you made that connection because a lot of people got to understand, like, you know, you could be positive through the negative times.
Mhm.
Like, you could be feeling anger, you know, sadness, but still have a positive, like you said, a sense of hope, you
Mhm.
know, which is that's all, you know, like with everything I do now, like I even said, you know, when you go through something, you got to look at the lessons that you're going through. And to only do that, to have that perspective, to have that lens on life, you got to have hope. Gotta have hope.
Mhm.
But yes, yes, I agree. I 100% agree.
Working through hard times can make relationships stronger. That's very true. That's very true because you're both building that resilience and you're also both you know learning
Well,
to rely on each other.
well, in my experience, um, it takes both parties to acknowledge that it's a hard time.
Mhm.
Let's just say that because it could be hard for one and it could be, you know, not for the other. And
Mhm.
that goes, you know, that just goes through mutual respect. But that's every relationship. Every relationship is like that, you know. Like I know, like you know, I'm being maybe I'm optimistic, maybe I shouldn't be, but like I've been through one bad, you know, marriage. It is what it is. We go our separate ways. I wish her the best, but I'm not gonna bring that. Hopefully, I'm not gonna bring that into the next one, right? I am gonna have my filters, which I see it now. Like when I'm going through, you know, dating apps and stuff like that, I see my
Mhm.
red flags, and I'm like, I'm very selective because I know how to filter certain things out.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, I'm still optimistic. I think that there's somebody out there, somebody who will understand and see things the way I do. Now, like
Mhm.
I said in the past, I'm a little more traditional when it comes to relationships, which I think most men are. Where women, you know, modern women, you got to realize, you know, fellas, you're dating modern women. You got to be a modern man, and
Mhm.
that means you got to be a little more. You gotta guard your wallet a little more. You can't leave with your wallet, and you got to know when to like ditch because there's certain things like there's women out there that will use you just for attention.
It's funny. I was talking with my girlfriends and you know, just weeding through like the different dudes for my birthday. So the one, they're like ragging on him. They're like, "Oh, he's not attractive, yada yada." And so I told them, I was like, honestly, like if you like haven't realized, I don't date pretty boys. Like I never have. That's just not what I do. And I feel as though like at a certain point, like the guy is like a little too into himself. Like I'd rather have them all into me than into themselves. Like that's just something that I personally look for in a relationship. And
But
I
that's
don't
not
know.
healthy.
And
That's
what you
not healthy
say?
for the guy. That's not healthy for the guy.
What do you mean?
That's not healthy for the guy. And this is what I keep telling my boys is like we got a very bad problem as far as like putting women on a pedestal, right? And
Mhm.
it's like nobody should be on that pedestal. The only person that should be on the pedestal is you. Now she can compliment you, but at the end of the day, when things are all said and done, the only other person, you know, at the end of the day, when everybody leaves, you still got to deal with you, and you still got to look at yourself in the mirror. So you can't put somebody else before you. That makes no sense.
No, but what do you mean? That you're like thinking of it way too deeply here. Like, oh, putting them before me. Like, relax. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm
But it's
saying
exactly what you
is,
say. You want the guy to be all about you.
all I'm saying is, if the guy is too into himself, I don't find that attractive. It's honestly, it's a little intimidating when a guy is like all like, I don't know, like coordinating with all like his little accessories and everything. It's like, oh, like you put more effort than I did tonight, sir.
But wouldn't you respect that more as somebody like you meet somebody and like he's not like so like goo goo gaga over you right off the bat? Like, wouldn't you want to know that you had to put some work to kind of change that guy into like feeling for you?
So I'm not looking for somebody the opposite end either. That's like completely like head over heels for me. Oh my god, can't get enough of me. That's not it either. I'm just saying, like, don't like for guys, like too much effort is too much effort.
Too much
Personal
effort is too
opinion,
much effort.
lady over here.
I swear, fellas, if you could understand women, more power to you because they just, what I heard is like, oh, they want a guy who's like upkept and all this and blah blah blah, and it's like guys got to do all this stuff, and then
Yeah, in subtle ways, like make sure like you shave every day. You know, like things that you I don't know, I feel like those are more like just regular maintenance.
regular
Um
grooming.
shows yeah, that shows like the effort. That shows like, oh, okay, you care what the hell you look like when you leave the house. But when you go like the other extreme where it's just like I said, like all the accessories and just attention to detail, every little thing, like it's just I don't like it personally. I don't like it. Like the guys who do like
I like my accessories.
the matching
I like my
sneakers with
chain and my
every
rings and my
outfit, like
bracelets and my
really?
watch.
I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm not into it.
I like all that stuff. I was never really into the matching sneakers, but there was some Converse. There was a pair of Converse I was thinking about buying recently because
Hmm.
they have Snoopy and Woodstock on it, and it's like white pair of Converse that would look nice with jeans. And I was like, yo, that's sick. I like that. I think you would like them. I think you would like them. But you're saying that I should get them now. You say that's too much.
I don't know. Honestly, it seems very it seems childish. Like that's the way I dress my boys. Like I get them the
It is
brightly
true.
colored
And
shoes
I
to
and you
match
know
their
what?
outfits.
There's times where I do kind of analyze that because
Mhm.
being 40, I'm like, listen, I got to make sure I'm dressing my age because I like there's one thing that's kind of like I don't know, it's like kind of skeevies when you see guys who are old and they're still trying even women, like older people who try to act like they're young.
Yeah.
Like I see like an older woman and she's wearing like something like a
Top.
college girl should be wearing. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, nah, it's not working. It's not working. It's like sometimes you kind of gotta adjust your age.
Hmm.
So that was a little reason why I was kind of hesitant to buy them. But I was like, man, these things are fire. I kind of like them. Never had Converse
But at
before
the same
too, so I was
time, it
like, yo,
sucks that we have that, mentality of, oh, we have to dress our age. Like, what's that even mean? Oh, life is hard.
it means that if you don't dress your age, you're not gonna be attractive to the other sex. I
Right.
gotta admit that too.
Right. You're also not going to like the way you dress is going to directly impact the amount of respect you get. So
That
like if
too.
you're not
It's your
dressed,
image.
in a respectable way, you're not going to,
It's
get that
like,
kind of
but
respect.
it's funny too because like nobody tells women like it's I don't want to sound like I'm ragging on women, but it's like you guys live in a different world. Like nobody tells women like, listen, when you guys do things, if you are heterosexual, right? It's what you're doing. It's gonna impact the opposite sex and their attraction towards you. And like one of the most ugliest things right now is a damn nose piercing and the colored hair. But a lot of women are doing it because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's empowerment. And I'm like, but that's ugly. Like you're making yourself literally look ugly. Like the buzz haircut and the different colors and the freaking nose piercing. I'm like, yo, that looks tribal. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I thought we were living in modern civilization. You look like you're going into battle.
Which is crazy that you say that because all those things are reversible. You can grow your hair back out, you can take those piercings out, you can,
But
let your hair
it's a mindset. Like
change the
if
color.
she's willing to walk in public like that, I'm like I look at that like I said that's a red flag to me, and I'm like, she's probably difficult. Like I just that's to me like she's difficult. Like for me to try to convince her like yo you look bad, like
Mhm.
coming from me, she's gonna be like the patriarch
Right.
so it's like
Hmm.
I
See,
weed
that's
that out instantly.
interesting. That's so interesting. Okay. Because, like, as a woman, when I see other ladies with, like, their hairs in different colors and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, I like it.
A subtlety is nice. But like now, it's just
Oh,
that they're
like the
going too
bold
loud with it.
colors. Like some people do like the rainbow, some people do like half and half. Like there's some
Yeah,
really
well,
creative out
like I
there.
don't listen. It started with like just like one little strand, right, and that was okay. But now it's just going with the crazy colors, and it's
Mhm.
just uh, what you look like will also attract certain personalities. Yeah, that is true.
Mhm.
It is true. It's like
Yeah, like if you dress goth, you'll attract goth.
right, and I was told, man, I was told that with cars. I was like, yo, the certain type of car you drive is gonna attract a certain type of people around you.
Hmm.
And it's like, are you willing to be around that kind of people? You
Hmm.
know? It's like the guy you were telling me about where he was in a biker, he was part of a biker group, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to categorize all bikers, but one of the things that comes out from bikers is what? That they're risk takers, right? Right? So if you're around that, you're gonna be like, yo, these guys are gonna be crazy. They're gonna be taking risks. They're gonna be doing,
Yeah.
that's the lifestyle. So it's like you gotta, it's all about reading people.
Hmm.
Like me personally, right now, what I'm looking for is somebody who has like a shy kind of look to them, like that librarian look. I like that. Listen, I even filter out my heights. Like when I'm looking at shorties, I'm like, yo, she got to be like shorter than 5'5", and I'm okay with that because they're out here, on the reverse side. They're like, well, he got to be 6 foot tall. He got to be six
Right.
foot tall. So I'm like, all right, well then I'm gonna start filtering out. I'm looking 5'5" and below. I don't know. I like short, and I like.
Drunk. Welcome to the stream. I'm kind of into females with face piercings, and the hair depends. I'm going on the buzz cut females. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, he said he's good. He's good on the
I'm
buzz
good. Yeah,
cut.
he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, with that being said, I probably wouldn't marry any females with face piercings. Ooh, you see?
Oh, my camera went
You
out.
said, Ray, go to church. Not
No, I
not
can't,
Catholic.
man.
Jehovah Witnesses, okay?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I spoke to my mom about that, and I don't think church is for me. Mm-mm. There's a lot of, I call a lot of snakes in church, so I can't. I'm
Did you
just
say
look. I like
a lot of steaks in church? Is that what you just said?
a lot of snakes. Yeah,
Oh, snakes.
two-faced. A lot of two-faced
Okay.
people. They're like they'll be partying on Saturday and church on Sunday. Nah, I'm not good with. I'm okay. I'm good. Mm. See, but look what Junk said. And this is, ladies, you got to understand when, what's the,
Pull it
the,
back
the
up.
male dynamic when we look at things. Like, once again, and listen, Junk, I get you 100, 100. I get you. He's like, but with that said, I probably wouldn't marry any female with face piercings. So once again, ladies, you are the gatekeeper of sex, right? Men have to do what they have to do to jump through the hoops to have sex. Whereas men, we tend to be the gatekeeper when it comes to relationships, right? We're the ones that have to propose, right? We're the ones that, got to do all this for marriage, blah, 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 blah. So what he said is like, listen, you could do all that and I'll, I'll still have fun with you, but it ain't going to be anything long term. And that's where a lot of these women don't understand. They're like, oh, I'm so tired of all these games. Why don't guys take me serious? Because you're not taking yourself serious. If you don't
Hmm.
have the respect for yourself, why do you think these guys are going to respect you long term? It's like if you're willing to give it up, I'll take it.
Right.
But I'm not going to respect you long term when you fucking look like a bull with a fucking bullhorn on your nose. Listen, I don't mind the little one on the side. That's okay. But like
I mean,
the
maybe
full
you'll fall
one
for
here,
her.
no, hell no. Hell no. No. But that's how guys are.
But this
We
is good
tend to
to
be more
hear because
sexual.
like I don't know, I've never known this. This was news to me. Well,
Of
I know
what?
you've told me
That's
this in
how
the
men
past,
are.
but I'm just saying, like in general, I found this out through you. I had no idea.
No,
Yo,
it's the
Jordan said
fact of
he grew
life.
up in the Jehovah's Witnesses, having to knock on doors at 6 a.m. You were that dude?
Yo, the Mormons though, they have to help you. So have you ever seen Mormons walking by? Like that's part of and you gotta like move stuff or you gotta do some chores. Like call them. They have to help you. They can't say no.
Jeez. He said religious females are no more trustworthy than females who
That's
aren't.
exactly, and that's a big misconception, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
like, no. You got to understand modern. This is what I keep saying. Like a lot of men, we tend to be traditional men, right? We're told we got to be gentlemen. We believe in this whole Disney narrative about, women are sugar and spice and everything nice, right? And all this BS. Well, you got to understand, guys, that we are dating in an age where women are told that they're strong, they're independent, they don't need no man, and, they could do whatever they want. Society doesn't hold them accountable. And so you got to start thinking that way. And I know Junk is thinking that way because he's like, look, I'm just playing with these shorties. I'm not taking
Yeah.
any of them
He
serious.
was that dude, but he's not anymore.
Yeah, and most people got to go through that. They got to get burned. Going back to what we were talking about in the very beginning of this whole conversation is sometimes you got to go through those bad relationships so you know what it is that you want,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he got burnt. Probably he was that kind. He was a nice guy. Once again, fellas, read no more Mr. Nice Guy. He was a nice guy, and probably Shorty cheated on him. And then after that, he started having his boundaries, and he was like, "Yo, if you present yourself a certain way, you are going to fall into this category, and that category is going to be fun times. That's it. Keep it clean. I might have fun with you for a night. We might have something short term, but I'm not going to look at you as something serious because you don't take yourself serious."
Mm-hmm. All right, so I saw stats that are crazy. I gotta look them up again. I saw that the majority of problem kids, like drug users, killers, single moms, felons, just trouble kids, come from single mom households.
That is correct. That is correct. And I don't want to knock on single moms because you know what? Power to you if you are a single parent out there doing it. It takes a big person to do that. But once again, it goes back to the whole sense that kids need that both dynamics. They need that mothery, nurturing, feminine energy, and they also need that masculine, discipline energy. And when it comes to when you look at all these problems, that just stems of a lack of discipline. Not saying
And
that
just because
that's
and
not
just because both parents are in the household doesn't mean that both parents are playing those roles, and that's what you
correct.
need. So I'm glad you went into
Correct.
it that way. And you were specific, like, hey, the nurturing aspect and the discipline aspect, they both need
Correct.
both parts are needed.
Correct. And then when I say discipline, I'm not talking about whooping a kid's ass. I'm talking about like respectable discipline. Like, listen, there's boundaries, and you did something wrong, and fathers tend to bring that more out as far as that respectable discipline. Don't get me wrong. I've learned a lot of those boundaries through my mother as well, but there's a lot of things I gotta fix now because my father wasn't in the picture.
Mm-hmm. So Drunk corrected himself. He said no. He meant he was the dude knocking on doors. Not you were like, oh yeah, Drunk was this kind of guy, and then he probably like turned around or whatever. He's like, no, he meant that. But he said, yeah, he thinks every guy's been involved with a female who's turned them into a dog.
And if you haven't, you will. Because
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, guys, if you haven't had your heart broken, you're just going to come out as that nice guy, as a chump, as somebody that they could use. Especially in this day and age, if you're dating, on Tinder, on Bumble, on all these apps, Hinge, whatever. If you come out as a nice guy, you're going to get played. You're going to get burned. You're going to get tired of being used. And then eventually you're going to kill that nice guy and you're going to realize, like, yo, I got to put myself first. So once again, going back to the whole thing, you're like, yo, going back to this guy, you're like, yo, he's full of himself, but you got to realize he's like that because he probably got burnt by a lot of shorties before you.
I don't know. I think that
Remember,
as
Lynn,
women, we need to have higher standards because when you just like allow any kind of attention to come into your life, you put you are making yourself vulnerable to being hurt, by men that are dogs.
but you got to also understand, like, you live in a completely different world. You've been getting hit on ever since, you got boobies. Like, men, we don't live in that world. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't walk out and get hit on by 10 different females. That's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Junk, whatever. Listen, you got to be a movie star. Like, you got to be a Vincent Chase from Entourage. I've been watching that show again, and I love that show. Where you're just walking around, you got the face, you got the social status, you got the looks, you got the excellent career, you got everything like given to you, right? You got the body, you got everything. And maybe then women are throwing themselves at you. The reality is most men don't know what women go through as far as getting, hit on 24/7.
Hmm.
So like you've for your whole life, you had a sense of abundance when it came to the opposite sex, right? You got to pick and choose. Men are not like that. So when we get some attention, we tend to like throw out all boundaries out the window and be like, "Oh my God, she's the one," and all this stuff. Why? Because we don't live in that same world. Get what I'm saying? So kind of think about
Yeah,
that.
but you know what? Even with that, I've still, allowed relationships into my life not in like a choosy manner. Just because, I'm receiving compliments and stuff, like as women, we do receive a lot of compliments from both the opposite sex and, other females. But that doesn't mean that, we're able to, choose the right partner and end up in great relationships. Like we end up with, bottom of the litter, just like the men.
But that's because But think about why you don't know how to choose the proper part. Nobody told you that, right? Nobody told you in society, hey, at some point in your life, you're gonna hit your peak and then you're gonna go downhill. Like you should really like start thinking about that, thinking about picking the right guy, having a family, all that stuff. Like the stuff that is supposed to be natural to keep human race alive. We don't talk about that stuff. What do we
Mhm.
talk about? We talk about the self. We're like, oh, you can do anything you want, put everything else on hold, and go live your life and do all this. And then later on down the line, think about family, right? Later on down the line, think about having kids when you can have kids. Like that's the reality. Like women have a biological clock, and nobody tells them that. Nobody's like, "Yo, you got a biological clock. I know you love your career, but if you want kids at some point, you might want to do it before you hit your late 30s." Nobody tells them that, or you're gonna have complications. It's
Mhm.
like society is lying to both of us. I see in the comments. That's how I stopped. I get nervous when I see the comments. I'm like, I'm in a rant. I'm in a rant. If I ever do a spin-off show, that's probably gonna be the name of it, Ray Rants. That's it. Cause that's all I know how to do.
All right, you know how we talked about alpha females? The thing about it is most single mothers have to be beta females, especially if they got sons.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You're right. Because they got to bring that masculine energy, and that's why you need both parents.
It's not a knock on women per se. It's more on how relationships are not being prioritized and making things work and making good choices.
Correct. And we're both being lied to. Both men and women are being lied to. Now, the reason why I do knock on women more is because men are still held to a standard. Like men are still held accountable in everything that we do. Where women tend to get away by the whole social construct. Like women are not being held accountable. If you look at all the craziness that's going around, you know, like I just heard recently in one of my men's group, one of the guys got charged. He hooked up with a girl, and for whatever reason, he started talking to another girl, whatever. And because she saw that, she was like, "Oh, he raped me." And so they went through this whole court case. He had evidence. He had text messages. He had all that stuff, and it was clear, obvious that she was lying, right? And his lawyer was like, "Look, because she lied, can we hold her accountable for the legal fees?" And nothing came out of it. She got a free pass.
Mhm.
And this is what women can do. Women can do. You saw the hashtag "Believe All Women," right? You see all that stuff, and it's like you got to realize, like, men are still hold on their standard, right? It's like, oh, you got to open doors, you got to pay for the check, you gotta, be a gentleman, you got to do all this, right? That's the tradition. That's why I say we men are tend to held to that traditional standard
Mhm.
where women are not. They're modern women, and so men got to learn to be modern because you will be taken advantage of if you believe in that traditional sense where I got to pick up the check. You're gonna be in her phone as a free meal. I hate to say it, but that's how it is.
Yeah, but when you say things like that, that's not the majority of women.
It's not, but it still happens, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you're right, but the fact that there's somebody out there who's not going to be like that in this day and age, the stats and all that, the probability of that's a unicorn, man. That's a
Mhm.
unicorn. We all listen. Most guys, drunk, me, we all want that. We want the unicorn, but it's rare. More and more as women become more entitled and get more empowered, they're gonna be more self-centered, and men have to realize that. Men have to realize that they got to put themselves first if they want to weed out all that noise.
Mhm. Joy said, when I do get hit on, I'm honestly kind of turned off by it because I'm used to being the hunter. Lord.
Mm,
Oh, Lord.
okay.
Tris, we are led by glitz and glamour. That's
We
true.
are. We are.
Mhm. I'd be like, damn,
And
this woman
shiny
really must not want
materialistic
to
things. That's the STD or
I feel
something.
like, damn, this woman throwing herself at me. Must have an STD or something.
Listen, when it does happen, John, when it does happen, it goes over my head. I don't realize it for like weeks later. Like, wait a minute, was I getting hit on? I just so not used to it, man.
Women are led to believe they can do it all, and yes, they can, but the results will not be the same. I don't think
Right.
it's
And
so much that women are led to believe this. I think that men in our society are failing us, and that's the reason why that women are being pushed into this role of having to do it all.
the men in society is failing you. Is that
Yes.
what you said? You caught
There's
that,
a
right,
cat
guys?
behind you, Lynn. No, there's not. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? There's no cat
As long
behind
as it
me.
doesn't cross in front of her, she's good because it's a black cat.
Oh, you took the breath in. What were you about to say?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. I know a guy who went through a fake rape case. He beat it, but now he records every sexual encounter he has for his
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah.
What? He lets the
Fellas,
women do this
keep
too.
all text
Holy
messages.
crap.
My quick advice: if you're on Tinder, Hinge, or Bubble, make it your priority. Do not keep those conversations going long on there. Try to move off of that so that you can keep records of all transactions after that. So, like my advice is, when you start talking, get the number, go on, text messages. Do some FaceTime. That's another thing, guys. You guys text too much. Change it up. Pick up the phone. Make a phone call. Do some FaceTime. Be different. If you
Hey,
try to be
you know
different from
what?
the next
That
guy,
does make a difference, by the way. Like,
be
you know,
different.
yeah, most guys won't pick up the phone and call. So when somebody
Yeah,
actually
do some
calls, it's like,
FaceTime.
oh,
They'll be all because sometimes through text
hello?
messages you lose things through translation. So you got to understand, like, especially if you're trying to be funny and witty, that doesn't come off too well in words.
Mhm.
You could do it through facial expression, like with sarcasm, especially when you give them a look, like until it clicks. It's like you gotta kind of do that stuff.
Mhm.
But keep records. Just keep records. Be safe out there, guys.
We missed Ma's message earlier. It said, Ray, a girl from church is 100% better than a loose female that is in the world without the fear of God.
Nope. It's all about how she was raised. And most of the times, if there's not a father figure, listen, I respect women because I was raised by women. So if women are being raised by women and there's no men around, right? How are they going to know how to respect men? So you gotta listen. You gotta understand. Like, if she doesn't have a good father figure or a good and fellas, listen. I know it's awkward to meet the dad, but if you're really serious about moving with or somebody with a relationship, you gotta meet the dad and see how that dynamic is, because that's gonna be a reflection of how it's gonna be with you, right? And also meet the mom because seeing how the mom is how she's gonna look in a few years too. uh, But I love it. I love it that mom really believes these girls in church are so innocent. I'm like, Ma, you believe that about all women until last Sunday. I love you, Mom.
Mom's mind was like blown.
Blown.
Who are these ladies?
Yeah. And I was like, Mom, this is calm. This is calm. This is Sunday. This is calm.
Mhm.
Like, wait, if you would have saw Saturday night in the club, and these are the same girls wilding out Saturday night in the club are the same ones in church in the dress, all nice, trying to act like they're all nice. No, that's not. That's not. I don't believe that. For you to deal with a man and respect the man, you got to have that dynamic growing up. You got to have to be raised with that.
Mhm.
Like, you got to understand what masculine energy is, and women don't understand that. Men don't understand feminine energy though. So it's like, it's we got a lot of work as a human race.
Sure do. Well, what are our closing remarks? We gotta wrap up the show.
Hold on, let's finish up the rest of the comments. Yeah, finish up the rest of the comments. I think
Let's see.
what's
Oh,
just
Tris
it.
Tris is says texts are saved on your phone, Ray. Can't save phone calls unless you're that paranoid and record everything.
Oh no, shit. No, I'm saying, like, you're gonna have the text message. I was just saying, like, pick up the phone and do something different. If you're competing with all these other dudes, which, trust me, you're competing with a lot of dudes when you're on Tinder and all that. Be different. Like, learn to be different, and that's a way to be different. Get them off the app and FaceTime them. Pick up the
Men
phone.
are
Do
from
something
Mars,
that's just
women are from
left wing.
Venus. All right, Mom. Lynn knows how to respect men, but she's hurt. She's been hurt too many times. I have been, man. Enough. I've had my fair share. Enough. Trist, welcome. I mean, Trist, Tadashi,
Tristan here the whole
welcome.
time. Read the name.
I got the
Whoop,
tea.
whoop.
Okay, I got the tea. Hope you're not too late. Ooh, you're catching us right at the end here.
Yeah, we're closing
We're gonna
out
be
soon. We're
closing
closing
up
out.
in the next couple minutes.
We are
Ray's
closing
gotta
shop
run
early.
today.
I got errand to run. My oldest has orientation for high school. They grow up so fast, man. I'm telling
Mhm.
you, if you guys are a dad, take every moment. When you become a dad, just take it all in. It sounds cliche, but take a lot of photos. I wish I would have done that more because they grow up so fast. They really do. So, we got more comments. Let's go. Let's go.
We
I got a
do,
few more
yeah.
minutes.
So drunk is like, this is gonna sound bad, but one time I broke up with a great female because she said Hillary Clinton is a great person. I was like, are you serious? She was like, yeah. It turned me off so bad.
Well, drunk, you can't turn that off because that's most of them. They all believe in feminism. They believe in all that stuff. What you got to do is you just got to kind of work on it. And don't do like what I do, where I'm just like, oh, that's conspiracy and all that shit. Don't just kind of give them little subtleties, back it up with like an article or two, and that's how you start changing their perspective. But listen,
He's
if she's really a good woman, right? And this is what I see it in my sister. She's gonna mimic you, right? She's gonna follow your lead, even though you're not thinking she's following your lead. So the things that you're into, she's gonna be into. The things that the way you act, your mannerisms, she's gonna pick that up too. I saw it a lot with Lynn. Like she'll be a dork with one guy, and then she could be, a hood rat with the next one. No offense, Lynn. I'm just saying that's how you tend to mimic your man, and I respect that because that's how women should be. Women should say, "Hey, look, um, it's in my feminine nature to be, submissive." And I don't say it in a negative way. I know that word gets very turned up. And follow him, right? So, however, I'm gonna
you didn't
mimic
trigger
my
me. You're
man.
good.
I didn't trigger, no triggering.
No
No, the
trigger.
one that gets triggered is me. I'm the one that gets triggered, ironically.
Chris was like, high school. Yeah, high school. Good stream.
I know it was. Listen, I like these kind of streams because when we don't really have a topic, I default to politics, and I know most people don't like to talk about politics. And you can see in our name, we're going to mention things, but I'm glad we went into this because this is what I really want the show to be about. Because I feel like we need to fix that. We need to fix that female male dynamics. Like I feel like we're at each other, instead of working together. Like I know I could do things alone, but I don't want to. I want somebody to help me. I want somebody who can not help me but compliment me. Like I made my achievement and she made her achievements. That's cool, but let's build something together. It's like life is rough. Like you should want to go through it with somebody. Build a castle, right? Build your legacy. It's
Yeah.
like we're all not gonna be famous. We're all not gonna be super rich. We're literally not gonna be royalty like the British family and all that shit, right? But we could be a superstar in somebody else's eyes, right? But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, we don't have that mindset anymore. And like I keep saying, I should have been born on another time. I feel like I should have been around in like the 50s, 60s because I'm corny like that. But yeah, no, thank you guys for the comments. Thank you for everything. Yeah, it was a short one, but we hit it hard. It was a good one.
Yeah.
I like this episode. And maybe if we want to keep it going, we'll talk about it on Thursday. Thursday, right before our road trip, Lynn. You
Right
ready for
before
our
the
road
road
trip?
trip. I'm prepping. I'm getting ready.
I'm excited because this thing was supposed to be like I try to convince Lynn and then Lynn convince other people to go. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be. But it's either gonna be epic or it's gonna be a shit show. But either way, I'm for it. Let's go. Let's go. It's called living. Let's go. All
All right,
right,
guys.
last
Enjoy the
few
rest of your week.
comments. Drunk said good stream. Tadashi said, man, I missed today's talk show. Don't worry, you can hit it on replay.
Mm-hmm.
Give us some more views. And then Trish said people too much into themselves. I 100% agree. We got to break that. We got to be more about community. And not willing to sacrifice for the other person. Yeah, that's hard. To be selfless, it's hard. It's hard. I've been there. It's hard. Have fun, guys. Thank you, Tris, and thank you everybody for watching. Like I said, love you guys. I appreciate it. You guys mean the world to me. That we're trying to do something, trying to grow something, and you guys come in and you just showing so much love. I love it. So, yeah. With that said, you guys made my Tuesday. Lynn, anything else?
I'll see you guys on Thursday.
All right. Peace.